Oh God, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Alright.
Welcome to Stuff Sucks.
Yep. It's another lovely day here in the chateau, so we've decided to commemorate this by being negative in the shed.
Yeah, we've got ourselves, it's streaming daylight outside, daylight we've not seen the like of in months.
It's warm enough to be outside.
It's on a bank holiday as well. This is unheard of.
Is it on a bank holiday?
It is on a bank holiday.
Bank holiday weekend.
I think you'll find that was last weekend.
I don't think the illusion of production goes far enough to suggest that we record these things on the day.
The magic of radio. Would you technically class this as radio?
It's the closest thing we've got.
Yeah.
We could put it on the radio.
Radio 4.
And pirate radio station.
Don't get them so much anymore.
Only in London, really.
Yeah.
Even with them, they're dying out a little bit.
Aw.
I know.
Death of piracy. Sad.
What a shame.
Oh, hello, by the way, I'm Jim.
Hello, I'm Reed.
I'm Jan.
I'm Dan.
And we're going to discuss things that are just goddamn down to the bone awful. And you got anything?
Yeah, I've got something. It is Easter this weekend, and my
Last
thing
week.
that sucks is Easter. And it's not necessarily that I don't like Easter, because I think it's great. What sucks is my own incompetence surrounding Easter.
Huh.
All I've eaten today is sugar, chocolate, nicotine, and it's not a nutritious, balanced diet, is it?
It's 4 of the major 5 food groups.
Yeah, so that's not great. So I've been, because it's Easter and all I eat is chocolate, I've just been riding a perpetual headache for a week. So that's great. So again, I can't really blame that on Easter. That's just my own inadequacies as a human being.
So it's not Jesus' fault.
No, it's not. And then today, I attempted to make Jo an Easter egg. She can't eat chocolate. So
Oh, that sucks.
yeah, that does suck. That sucks balls. Like, she gets migraines, and it's her triggers are red wine, cheese, chocolate, fizzy drinks.
The best stuff.
It's like, if the doctor told me that I couldn't eat those things, I would starve. Like, literally the only thing in there that I don't like is red wine. But
Oh, come on.
just cheesy chocolate and cherry coke for me. Yeah, that's what I live off. But yeah, I was making her an Easter egg today. So I was trying to make an egg out of Caramac and melt that down, and then paint it into a mould, and you put it in the fridge, and you try and layer it up so it gets thicker and thicker, and then eventually you can pop it out. And what my intention to do was, because she loves cream eggs, was to scoop out the innards of loads of cream eggs.
Yeah, that's that way you have so many cream
That's
eggs.
why I have so many cream eggs. Scoop out the innards of cream eggs and try and make her some Caramac cream eggs. So today I walked over to Jo, said Happy Easter, and gave her a bowl of smashed up Caramac with cream egg goo, because every single one I made shattered into oblivion when taking it out of the mould, so that wasn't great. And then I got a little bit paranoid about trying to syringe out the goo from cream eggs, because there's no way you can stop all the chocolate coming through, so I was picking out lumps of chocolate. So she might have a migraine by now, so she's effectively just got a very painful, poorly made Easter treat from me this year.
But she suffered for it. As did Jesus Christ.
Isn't that really what Easter's about?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I can do, like take this week of perpetual headaches and sugar rushes and say that it's my sacrifice to represent what Jesus has done for us. I'm willing to go through this pain to satisfy my base needs. And yeah, everything's going to be great because of it.
Which reminded me of something my mum told me about. In the 70s, all those student doctors, I don't know if they still do it, it's a cool invention. They'd get like cabbage cream eggs and a syringe, and if there's a little air gap in a cabbage cream egg, so they'd inject them with brandy and like leave them for 2 weeks. Apparently they were lethal.
Well, genuinely lethal.
Well, hopefully not. But they're all medically trained, you know, they knew what they were doing, kind of.
It's ironic because that doesn't necessarily sound like an experiment you'd need to have medical training for to come up with.
Oh yeah.
Injecting brandy into a cream egg.
And how much is it different from sitting down with a bottle of brandy and a pack of cream eggs and just going nuts? You know?
It's
Cut out the middleman.
It's not as classy, but I think like something happened to the innards of the cream egg. That's why you left it for 2 weeks. It like the
Continued to ferment.
maybe.
I would have thought the sugar in it was far too processed to do anything, but that's what it is, isn't it? It's a
Old school
it's gooey
cream egg.
sugar.
Old school cream egg. That sucks. You might not have heard about this.
I heard about something about a recipe change, but maybe you could enlighten me as to the details.
Cadbury's cream eggs. Cadbury were bought out by Kraft.
Mm-hmm.
Kraft.
Have discontinued the use of dairy milk in cream eggs. So now we use inferior Kraft technologies to bolster our cream egg supplies.
Okay, so it's the same yolky whitey interior, but it's just not milk chocolate encasing it.
Interestingly, it looks like they might have. Fuck knows what it was replacing, because surely fondant's all sugar, but they've upped the sugar level in the fondant. So I can't imagine what cheaper and what more expensive ingredient was removed to promote putting so much more sugar in. But what else is in fondant? Sugar and colour.
Sugar colouring.
Maybe the colouring they used wasn't a sugar-based colouring, so they've got all the way with that. But that's
Yeah.
it. I think there'll be more sugar in the chocolate as well,
Yeah, there's a lot more.
if it is American-based chocolate.
Oh, I don't like American chocolate.
I like the ones that aren't chocolate based. Well, like
So American candy as opposed to chocolate.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like Hershey's is awful.
Yeah, I'm not keen.
It's the one sweet comestible from America when you I finally got a Hershey bar. Sorry guys, but the Hershey bars aren't nice.
I like Reese's
Reese's
peanut butter
Pieces.
cups.
Yeah.
Reese's Pieces and Cups, yeah.
Yeah.
Though I can't eat too many of them.
No?
I eat 3 Reese's Cups and I feel like I've just full of peanut butter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your mouth does tend to cement if you nail them. You sound like the Elephant Man.
Yeah.
Maybe your body processes peanut butter through your bladder, which is why you can only have a small amount of it.
Maybe. Because of
You
my
have the world's tiniest bladder.
tiny
was
constant
so-
Does that
flowing.
mean you piss out peanut butter? Because I would not like that.
Yeah, he doesn't eat chunky anymore. Or crunchy.
I'm
Sorry.
not going back to casualty.
That's what doesn't suck. Casualty theme tune.
Oh, one of the greatest theme tunes ever. It's up there with the original The Bill soundtrack.
Oh, the bell.
Yeah.
There's a theme tune and a half. Oh. Save things like
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, good theme tunes. What are bad theme tunes then?
Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh fuck.
That's great. Let's break with the classical overtures and stick a cheesy pop song on the front.
It's been a long way.
Dear.
There's another one that has outraged me this week. Well, it's on top of something good. Like, I can't remember if it's Netflix or Yahoo. You know, they're all like, the web distributors are all up and making their own original TV. I think it's a Netflix one. They've remade Inspector Gadget.
Huh?
Looks pretty cool. It's like 3D computer animation, but it's all very Inspector Gadget-y. The dude doing the voice sounds just the same as the original. Awesome. That's fucking the worst theme tune you've ever heard. They had the best theme tune in all of cartoon television. Why would you replace that?
Yeah. That's 90% of what that show is about.
Yeah.
Did you ever see about the fan theory involving Inspector Gadget?
So,
It's like basically where the claw was actually Inspector Gadget all along, and Inspector Gadget was a robot made by the claw. Yeah.
that's why he's so completely incompetent.
Yeah.
How does Inspector Gadget have a niece?
Yeah.
I mean, let's forget how is the dog the most intelligent part of the trio, but, Inspector Gadget clearly doesn't seem altogether human.
Right, something did they
There was a
address
massive
it?
accident, wasn't there? And
Yeah.
He came back with all of his gadgety powers.
Is that from the movie with Matthew Broderick?
I think that's from the cartoon. Original source material.
That movie does suck. Mega
I-
balls.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Not seen it. I refuse to watch it.
The worst thing about it is Rupert Everett is in it as the claw.
And he has a claw.
It's I actually kind of like the claw.
I
in
don't
that,
like the
but
claw. It
It's
should have
having-
just been the back of a chair with a hand.
Yeah.
Oh, again, I'm sure I've said this on the podcast before, but for many years my brother believed that the claw was in fact a bomb handcuffed to a gauntlet on a chair from the opening sequence of Inspector Gadget.
It's actually kind of terrifying.
It would be amazing if that was the big reveal, wouldn't it?
Sentient bomb.
They did release a Dr. Claw toy for the TV show, didn't they?
I was
Which
gonna
was
bring this
weird
up.
because he's never been shown
It
in
has
the cartoon.
the
Pretty hard to have like build a toy which perpetually had its back to you.
Yeah, every time you move around, it twists to face away.
That's an awesome idea. Could we make that work? Well, like, there's the.
It'd be difficult to make it a toy. You could have it as a presentation piece.
Well, do you remember The Simpsons where Homer takes the chili and goes out of his
Yeah,
box?
and just continually runs around Marge, and she's
Yeah.
always got her back to him.
You could bring
Yeah.
out a figure of that Marge. That would be disconcerting.
It'd be easier to make the figure complete, but have a representative from Mattel slap you every time you try and turn the toy around.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's the way we should go with it.
Well,
I'd quite happily dish out the slapping. It'd be a good job.
wonder what the pay's like.
Who cares?
It's for the love. No, that was it, yeah, the Inspector Gadget toy, the claw, he was released in a blister pack, but it had a sticker over the front, so you couldn't see his face. And that's what they sold it on, like, oh, finally, the claw's face. And he just looked like some kind of wacky, mad professor.
Oh, yeah.
A letdown.
No, that armoured gauntlet that sits on the chair is quite suggestive.
I was imagining some kind of gruff, sideburn, like a classic 18th century villain, big sideburns, maybe a scar.
Eye patch?
No, I'm thinking like either a blasted eye socket or just like one of those like whited out eyes, and the scar goes completely across it.
Maybe. I was hoping
Or
for more of
milky
a...
and glaucoma-y, like...
Yeah, like a 60s Bond villain.
Not nice.
Seems-
Like Blofeld. Who isn't, but is, but isn't in the new James Bond film.
I think it's right. The trailer for the new James Bond film Spectre dropped, and allegedly Christoph Waltz is playing Blofeld, but I think it's a double play. I think they've like set it up to look like that, but I think Monica Bellucci is going to be Blofeld.
Monica Bellucci usually is a bad person in films.
She's probably going to be a baddie, but it'd be a cool flip if it was like, she takes her wig off. She'd have to be bald.
Yeah, she would definitely have to be bald.
Now, that'd be worth it, if that was the last scene as well.
Damn, or an after the credits stinger.
Rips a wig off, smudges some makeup over her eye to reveal a massive scar going down it, picks up a cat.
Fuck, I had sex with Blofeld.
Oh, that sucks. You know how, like, Thunderball, Never Say Never Again,
Yeah.
the rights to that film and the story therein belong to a different studio than MGM.
Yeah.
That's part of the whole hoo-ha for all the years.
So when they did the re-released one, which I think is Thunderball, I can't remember which way around they came, the main canon MGM ones in the pre-credit sequence for their film rushed in a dropping Blofeld down a chimney to kill off the character just to stitch up the other people making a film.
I kind of remember that.
It's
Like a big, like a warehouse chimney for an old school Wigan
Holding
staff.
tower.
Yeah, I remember that. Aye.
And the only reason you really know it's Blofeld is it's a bald man from the back in a wheelchair that Bond scoops up in a helicopter, just on like the runner at the bottom, and the cat runs away, picks him up and drops him down the chimney. It's like, my greatest bad guy is dead within the first 3 minutes of this film. Fuck you, everyone else.
Ah, the good old days. Never get away with that now. Get sued up the fundamental.
Well, they are trying to make it again.
And why did they remake it initially? Was it the same studio that owned it the first time, or did the rights to that one film get sold and then the new owning studio decided to remake it, or what was the
I
deal
think
with
it's
that?
someone owns the rights to adapt the book,
Okay.
and they allowed MGM to do it for the first film. Wanted to get a little bit of money again, so hired Sean Connery to come back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's when he was old
He was
Bond.
looking there, showing his age a bit there, right?
And von Sydow was Blofeld. Max von Sydow.
Yeah.
Is that the one when they played the video game that electrocutes him?
I don't know. All the Bond films kind of merged together pre-Pierce Brosnan for me.
Yeah.
Could probably identify most of them since then. But
How does everybody feel about the whole Idris Elba being Bond thing?
I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, likewise.
Because it like further reaffirms the theory that James Bond isn't so much a person but a code name given to each Bond. It like makes sense in the film way that there can be different James Bonds and he always gets younger or stays roughly the same age.
yeah, and I really like that theory, and that's what I don't like about this Spectre film. Because like, well,
It can make
using
it
that theory,
concrete.
you can reboot Bond. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But you can't reboot his villains. It's not like Blofeld is a designation as well as
Why not?
007.
Could
Because
be-
if we start down that road,
Take
I've
it
got
too
this
far,
new
right?
giant man with metal teeth. I shall call him Jaws.
You get away with doing it, for the character of Bond, but maybe starting to doing it for the characters of the villains as well, like
But this-
pushing the limits of what you can reasonably.
It also feels lazy. It's like,
Yeah, a little,
write a
yeah.
new story, write a good story. It'd be great. Like Casino Royale. I know that was based on a Fleming book, but the other one, Skyfall, that was an original work, really well received, and that's great. And now they've gone, well, we're going to jib off our own films now. Start recycling bits from the past because we know you like us.
I guess, but they sort of... Daniel Craig's was a soft reboot from the start, just very subtle. I mean, like... Well, actually, how many times they rebooted Moneypenny? How many people played her?
I think that's possibly the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certainly been 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah.
And if you cast your minds back to some of the later Roger Moore, who was the other guy? Timothy Dalton. Timothy
Not
Dalton.
Daltrey.
Roger Daltrey is James Bond.
I think it'll be the next one after Idris Elba. Bond's CIA contact, Felix Leiter,
Felix.
also changed races from film to film. So
Yeah.
precedent has been set for changing, the race of a character, even if you weren't.
The whole world security services, they just all recycle the same names of like 300 agents over and over
It's
again.
not really a secret service agency. It's quite apparent.
I think it gives more credence to it as James Bond, at the start of every introduction to every major villain or player in the films. I may be a spy, but this is my name.
Hi.
Hi.
He always gives him his real name. You never get... He said, oh, my name's Clive Dextrose. Straight up front.
Oh, Clive Dextrose.
Love that guy.
The sweetest spy around. Tea sugars.
Oh. Stirred. And just stirred.
Milk first. Oh, what a maverick.
I can never remember. Is it milk first or milk second?
Apparently, like, you put the milk in first, and I think most people are heathens.
Milky teabag.
Yeah.
Mm.
Don't want milk
There's just
tea
something
bag.
about that I don't like, even though I'm quite happy to drink the produce of said milky teabag. But
Ah, no. This might be it. Isn't it like... Well, in the old days, I imagine a tea bag was what the scummers used. So it must be all like... From the
I think
tea
in the
pot.
older days, the teabag didn't necessarily exist.
That as well.
All these scumbags with their tea bags.
Tea bags came about by accident.
Oh, that was lucky.
Yeah, well, like, because when we sold loose tea, they'd actually put it in a little silk bag, and the people would just throw the bag in the teapot.
Exactly, lazy.
Yeah, thinking that's how it came. It's like turned out that it worked better than using it through the old strainer method. Yeah.
Every day, in every way. Every day's a school day. Yeah, that must... Yeah. But yeah, that must be from having a teapot. Maybe that's it. If you made tea in a teapot, you put the milk in first.
You put the milk in the teapot.
No, you put the milk in your cup.
Well, maybe we should be going milk, water, teabag, sugar, if you want sugar.
I
No.
like sugar.
I think it's firmly established that I like sugar.
No, you don't want any milk in with the tea bag. You want just the tea bag and water. Purist approach. You don't want anything else, interfering with the infusion of the tea.
Especially when you're making it a pot, because, people like it different strengths.
I haven't made a pot of tea in years. That's terrible.
Nor have I. Not made a pot of coffee. Ever.
Ever?
Ever.
Made a pot of coffee the other week.
On every day.
Was it still going now?
Let's keep topping it up. Oh.
Thank you. And I believe I'm probably talking pseudoscience here, so please correct me if I'm wrong.
Go
Also,
for it.
any listeners out there, feel free to write in. But
We don't do corrections.
okay, if you dissolve the sugar in just the water, surely the sugar will dissolve more effectively because when you add the milk, there's more particles.
I don't know, the water will be hotter than the milk. So it'll
Which is
dissolve
also good as
quicker
well.
in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So that's 2 reasons to always add your sugar before you add your milk.
So please, any science people, get involved. If you've got a clipboard, even better. Send in your findings.
Yeah, do the research.
Yeah.
So we don't have to.
We did research once. Do you remember that day?
We did a whole podcast where we had computers available to check what we were saying. And it just stretches everything out.
God, it's just fact after fact. God.
I mean, we were correct, but
Ugh, correct. It's horrible.
But at what cost?
if we did a podcast for the corrections, it'd be hours.
Maybe we should do that once a year. The accumulated collection. Collections? Corrections.
The collections of corrections.
Sounds great. I'm in.
The correction collection. We'll do that like,
Sounds like a Philip K. Dick novel.
yeah. But it's going to be scarier.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Read Scanner Darkly again.
That's pretty scary.
It's pretty scary.
I can't watch that film. Freaks me out a bit.
It is. Like, everyone forgets that's the film that really brought Robert Downey Jr. back. Which doesn't suck.
Kiss,
That
kiss,
Kiss
bang,
Kiss
bang.
Bang Bang
Came out at the
was
same
around
time,
At the
yeah.
same time. I think that was a better performance commercially.
Yeah. Great film.
Him and Val Kilmer in it were fantastic. Val Kilmer was a brilliant thing for him, and then he just disappeared and got fat again.
But he's done 2 cool things since then.
Got fat.
Well, 3 of them. He did a Life is Short, the last episode. You know, the Ricky Gervais
yeah.
thing with little Warwick Davis. And his episode was incredible. He wants to make Willow 2. And he did a... What was the other one? Bad Lieutenant. Port of Call, New Orleans, which I like, and nobody else does.
Hang on, was that one with Nick Cage being crazy?
Yeah.
I like that
I
because
like
it
that.
was Nick Cage going absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he read a script or not, if they just put a camera on him and just told him to go.
I don't think he even knew she was doing a film.
No. He just turned up one day in New Orleans dressed up as a detective and started drinking. And the cinematic magic happened. Didn't you think he was a lizard at one point? Or a cat?
There's a big iguana.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the meme was created.
Nick Cage tried to sue his manager for not looking after his financial interests properly, but when it came into court, they discovered that Nick Cage had bought like loads of houses, 4 yachts, and
Wild animals.
wild
Like
animals,
big cats, well, not lions, but close to.
all against the advice of said manager. So the case didn't really go any further than that. But it was all evidence that Cage had submitted himself.
Brilliant.
It just adds to the man's mythology.
I think I heard about that. Didn't he buy a couple of castles or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
castles. That's it. Yeah.
A couple of them.
Yeah, more because if you've got one castle, you're going to need another.
If one runs out, you've always
That
got a
was
spare.
the problem with like the feudal system. You get one castle, you can't stop there.
You build a castle, then they build a castle, then you build 2 castles.
Or take one of theirs.
I was going to talk about Game of Thrones, but none stuff sucks.
Not on stuff sucks. Unless we watch it next week and it sucks.
Ah, could you imagine? What if it happens? What if it's like 7 seasons of gold, and the 8th final season?
Oh no, I read the other day that George R. R. Martin decided that he wasn't going to finish off Winds of Winter because he was just going to let the TV shows tell the story. He can't be bothered.
Well, that struck dumb with rage.
To be fair, I did read that on April the 1st.
Okay. Well,
But it was one of my favourite things because it immediately incited just the right amount of hatred and rage to look
just
past the
before
date.
logic can click in and tell you it can't possibly be true.
Hang on.
Did read he has released a chapter from Winds of Winter, one with Elaine in it.
He's released a few, but I kind of feel like I want to wait and read the book.
I did give in and read it this morning because it was there, and I've got no self-control when it comes to things like that.
Are there any like juicy plot points?
Not really. It was just I can't really say without.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody's up to date with the books. It would kind of, well, no, not ruin anything in particular, but I'm not like that. I'm not like that, man.
Just not made like that.
No, it's not how I roll.
Is this series to be the last series?
No, there's going to be a couple more at least.
Well, they're kind of saying 8, but the HBO dude who's in charge of HBO, that guy, no research, he said he'd be very happy if it went to 10.
Okay.
But he's leaving it down to the 2 showrunner guys, and probably to Martin as well. They'll know, naturally.
I mean, like, the guys, the showrunners know how it's going to end and what the major plot points and, like, progressions are of each of the characters.
Right, in case Martin buys
in
it.
case he bites it. But there's going to be, now more than ever, there's going to be a divergence between the books and the TV show.
He's already said this week that there's a major plot point reveal in season 5 that isn't even in the books yet, that he thought of
Yeah. But,
just recently, yeah.
It's all good, really. It means then both experiences, both the books and the TV show, will be something unique in each of them. So it won't, even though it will kind of spoil it a bit for book readers.
That sucks for them.
It also means there'll be things in the books that won't be managed to be fit into the narrative of the TV show. So it's,
There'll be something in there still to keep it fresh.
yeah, still be a reason to read them.
You, anything stuck for you this week, Reed?
Yeah, nothing particularly. You know, obviously the circumstances, you know, being back, being able to record an episode of Stuff Sucks, you know, for me is something fairly positive. You know, so recording Stuff Sucks isn't inherently something that sucks, but, you know, maybe I would, you know, follow on from some of Jan's gripes about Easter. I've got no experience making Easter eggs, but, you know, giving eggs, receiving eggs, it's nice and everything, but for someone who doesn't have a sweet tooth particularly,
At all?
Easter egg chocolate for me sucks. I don't like it.
depends. It can be very good, but oftentimes it's
You've got
not
to
so
pay
good.
top dollar.
Yeah.
We gave Andy some Easter cheese.
Some
He
Easter
doesn't
cheese?
have a sweet tooth, so maybe you could try and
Some
go for
Easter
some,
cheese, yeah.
promote people giving you savoury Easter treats.
Savoury Easter treats, yeah, or real eggs.
I like goose egg, no duck egg.
Goose egg,
Little
quail's
quail
eggs,
egg.
yeah.
They look like mini eggs. I did want to swap them out, so I got some quails. I didn't want to swap out quail eggs with mini eggs and see how many people fell for it.
Shells are so crunchy.
Yeah,
Chocolate quailed egg.
given where I work, I probably would have got slightly fired for that sort of mischief.
We're going to get fired sometime.
Oh yeah, could have been in spectacular fashion.
And, you know, we've talked about cream eggs, Kraft taking over, Cadbury's, corporate buyouts, they normally suck. Redoing Inspector Gadget, which may be alright, but they've redone the theme tune, that sucks. You know, so I think what maybe one theme we can take out of this show is...
So what you were saying is you were in a really good place before we started recording this, and now we've reminded you that the world sucks.
Yeah, more or
Our
less.
job
yeah.
here is done.
And if we could do that for everybody listening, our work here at Stuff Sucks is complete, and we thank you all.
We've got a whole world to bum out.
But that's kind of it for today.
Well, if you want to get in touch with us and just like tell us why we're wrong,
Yeah, particularly on that tea, sugars dissolution thing, that'll be interesting to get clarity on.
we need the science. Yeah, if you want to get in touch with us, we're on Twitter. Twitter at _things_we_like.
Yeah. And
Sweet.
things has a capital T.
It does. I don't think it matters though.
I think it might.
Well, things has
When
a
you're
capital
typing
T.
it out, it does. But if you follow us, it's not a problem because it'll come up.
Yeah.
Basically.
Excellent. And yeah, you can send us an email as well. Things we like at thepeoplesbeard.co.uk.
So, yeah. Well, have a nice time.
Yeah. Enjoy the diabetes-inducing miracle of Easter.
Yeah. I don't think God wanted it this way. So like,
I killed my only son for diabetes.
not the beaters.
Not the beaters.
So yeah, we'll come back next week. Well, we'll probably venture blinking into the sunlight, and everything I'm sure is pretty good out there. But we're gonna sit here for a bit longer in our funk.
Yeah. I think we should probably make it like an open fire in here to fill the area with a corrosive eye-burning smoke, just so that we prepare ourselves for the outside world properly. When it becomes dark, we can emerge again and wreak havoc upon the neighbourhood.
On like a spirit quest, but like a dark one.
If we're going to do something, we might as well do it properly.
I like it. Let's do that.
Excellent. We'll see you next week for things you like.
Yeah. Have a good